And due to the fact that they asked me not to tell the story, I won't. But seeing the pain bothered me. I'm the sort of person I don't like to see people in pain. And when I know the person, it's even harder for me. And I started thinking, boy, I don't ever want to cause anybody pain. And it kind of went through my mind about how many times I have caused people pain. And this thought popped into my head. This thought of, if I knew God better, I would have no desire to cause him pain. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have a desire to cause God pain now, but I do have this. There'll be two things. One thing that I know I should do, and the other thing that I want to do. But my thought was this: if I knew God better, wouldn't the two be the same? Knowing him would make me want to do what he wanted me to do. It's almost like two knowings, because I know what I should do, and then there's the knowing him. Two different kinds of... Anyway, put a thumbtack in that, or a Post-it note or something, because we're going to skip ahead. I'm sure everybody has heard of the story, Parable of the 10 Virgins. And, 10 virgins, and they're all asleep, and 5 wake up, and they go into the wedding. And then the other 5 come back. And when they come back, I'm at verse 11 of Matthew 25. It says, afterward, the other virgins came also, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, assuredly, I say to you, I do not know you. It's that word know again. And I find it kind of funny because I've been to a lot of weddings, but I've never been to one where people that didn't know the bridal party were invited. So maybe it's just me, but in my mind, I'm thinking they all did know about the groom. But only those 5 really knew the groom. I'll kind of tell you what I mean. There's, in Spanish language, there's 2 words for our verb to know. One of them is saber, which is kind of like a knowledge of something. For instance, from where you're sitting, you can tell that I'm short. You can tell that I have blonde hair, and if you have good eyes, you can tell what color eyes I have. That would be saber. You can tell somebody about me. But the other word, conocer, is to know a person. That would be if I called you up, and you could tell instantly without me saying who I was just by my voice. That would be if we could share inside jokes. That would be connoisseur. That would be to know who I am. I'm going to go to John 10, 4 and 5. And Jesus is talking about how he's the good shepherd. And he says, and when he brings out his own sheep, he goes before them. And the sheep know him, for they know his voice. Yet they will by no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him. They do not know the voice of strangers. It sounds like what I just said, right? If you know my voice, you're going to answer the phone and say, hi, Lies. That's my name, by the way, Lies. If you don't, you're going to say, who's this telemarketer, right? I'm going to skip to verse 14, and it says, I am the good shepherd, and I know my sheep, and I am known by my own sheep, or by my own. This concept of knowing. John 17:3 is the next one I'm going to read. And it says, and this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. And these are all great, but I'm going to throw you by going to Genesis 4 and reading, now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. All of these words, if you look it up in the Spanish Bible, every single verse that I just read about knowing is that word conocer. It's this intimate relationship, this relationship of not just knowing about, but really knowing. Now back to what I told you to put a tack in before, or post it. I don't remember what I said. Anyway, what I was saying about if we really knew God, we wouldn't want to hurt him. And I think I can back that up. Steps to Jesus, very fantastic little book. Page 41. I'm not going to read the whole page, don't worry. Some people say that they serve God, but they try to obey his laws without his help. By their own works, they try to develop a good character and receive salvation. Their hearts are not moved by the love of Christ. They try to do good works because they think God requires this in order for them to reach heaven. Such religion is worth nothing. When Christ lives in us, we will be filled with his love. The joy of his friendship will make us want to be near to him. We shall think about him so much that we will forget our selfish desires. Love for him will guide every action. We will feel the love of God. We will not ask how little, if we feel the love of God, we will not ask how little we can do to obey him. We will try to do all the Redeemer wants. I don't know, that kind of sounds like what I was saying, right? But I'll tell you, that kind of sounds like a character trait. Knowing God, and then these character traits follow. I'll tell you, I heard a definition of character one time that I really like. It was this. Character is not who you are when you're sitting in the pew in church. Character is who you are when you hit the wrong nail with the right hammer. It's what happens when you stub your toe, when everything goes wrong and you drop the drawer.